Last night was the People's State of the Union. It's the left-wing tofu to tonight's State of the Union. You want a taste? Have a bucket nearby.
This man named Zinke, who claims to be Teddy, got rid of climate science programs already. He actually rides his horse to work like a
What?
That's Fisher Stevens. I thought he was dead, but he's still alive and apparently a celebrity. Afterwards, news outlets focused on one thing only: star power. Not the principles, star power. Because without that, the event was just a rehash of anti-West, hard-left diatribes. American-caused genocide? Check. Evil white male privilege? Check. Real winners there. But what caught the press was not the radicalism, but that it was star-studded. True, there was Mark Ruffalo and Kathy Najimy. If that's star-studded, so is any rest stop on Sunset Boulevard. I should know. What the press ignored, the same divisive politics that spooks most Americans. Blaming others for your problems is so last decade, and yet they can't stop. But what's also weird, this event was last night before the actual speech, which tells you everything. They only want to hear themselves. But the curse of refusing to hear those you disagree with, you remove the one step that unites people, which is conversation, which leads only then to conflict without it. But maybe that's what they want. The People's State of the Union may not be about people at all, but division and emotional actors whose celebrity provides cover for their unpopular radical beliefs. And they need the cover because no one wants leftism. It hurts too many lives. Look at history. So last night may have felt like a great movie for the media, but it's one movie that America will happily skip. You know, Jesse, what drove me nuts about this, and I say driving me nuts loosely because I really don't care.
As you're nuts already.
I'm nuts already. Everything was about how star-studded it was.
Yes.
They totally left out the fact that what they were talking about was so purely anti-American drivel that you've heard for 40, 50 years. But that just, you know, a gossip column is for people. They can't handle that.
Here's how I knew it wasn't star-studded. When Juan yesterday asked who was going to be at the event, and we said Mark Ruffalo. And he said, who's that? And then he said, well, what movie is he be in? And we all started Googling Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
These guys aren't A-listers. And they tried to, all they care about is who they are, not what they say. Because if you put them in a panel up here like this, they can't debate the issues.
That's true.
There's no substance to the argument. It's all anger. And something Mark Ruffalo said that really kind of bothered me, he accused President Trump of being lazy.
Yeah.
Ruffalo wakes up and does 10 a.m. yoga on a beach in Malibu and then gets his fingernails waxed. This guy is not a hard worker. Being an actor in Hollywood is the easiest job in the world. Don't tell someone else you don't have a good workout.
What is,
Yeah.
what is fingernail waxing?
Oh, you got to try it. It's amazing.
I have no idea, but he does
amazing.
it.
I think he means fingernail buffing, but he also lives in New York, but okay.
Yeah, you know, Juan,
Details.
Michael Moore used the phrase cleanse when he was talking about white males. Like, we need to cleanse white male privilege. Do you think that's going to go over well with middle America? Yeah, let's cleanse America of white male privilege, which basically says, like, get rid of white males.
No, it's not. It's about privilege. But by the way, I mean, if you talk about low-wattage celebrities, I mean, you know, this essentially is a left-wing version of the Tea Party back in 2010.
Tea Party was actually Americans.
Oh, these people aren't Americans.
No, you know what I'm saying.
No, but I'm saying
everyday Americans. Everyday Americans. What's the wait? Tell me the celebrity quotient of the Tea Party.
That's what I said. They didn't have any celebrities. That's what Jesse said.
You're comparing apples and oranges,
These are
Juan.
B or C-list celebrities.
Nice try.
You guys
nice
had
try.
no celebrities.
The Tea Party was an actual, organic, real movement by Americans.
This is not real.
No.
Let me tell you, this is so real. They had town hall in the middle of Manhattan, packed last night.
Middle of Manhattan.
And not only that,
how did celebrities work out for Hillary? They put her over the top.
Let me just say, they had hundreds of thousands of people watching, streaming, including Greg Gutfeld.
I watched
oh,
it.
my God.
I don't know how they got a 500,000. I watched it. I only saw 5,000.
Greg, it was also sort of your assignment because you had to do a monologue on it. So just on Greg's behalf, he sort of had to watch it.
Let me drop the bomb for you guys. De Blasio was there. Go ahead, guys. Blow up, glow up. I know you don't like De Blasio.
Neither does the Democratic Party.
But it's not at all surprising that de Blasio was
Kimberly, do you care that de Blasio was there? I like to call Lurch.
I mean, if Big Bird was there, that just means it's definitely not an event you wanted to be at. What can I tell you? I mean, look, I don't care if they have B or C list. I'd rather have the real people like you had in the Tea Party movement than like celebrities without scripts. Not a good idea. Trying to come forward to proffer some enthusiasm and sense of honor and integrity to try to criticize what's happening in this country. I don't think it worked. It didn't do anything for me. It didn't move me. Didn't move my dial.
They used to have Clooney and Diddy, and now they have de Blasio. I think that says it all.
Well, you know, I mean, I will say this, Dana. I watched it, and I saw, like, Ruffalo really believes it. And he has the energy. I could see him possibly running because he's not really a big star.
He's very into the environment.
And he's in, he was bragging about, not bragging, but talking about the whole pipeline protest. How'd that end up?
But, right.
Yeah.
Getting approved.
Yes. Thank you, Mark.
So the Democrats are in a real pickle. Because
watch your mouth.
They have this division, and it's hard. How do you figure it out? If you're Chuck Schumer, you're trying to figure it out. Their goal in 2018 is to try to take back the Senate and the House, but the Senate in particular. And he's got red state Democrats that are having to run for re-election in 10 states where President Trump won some of those states by double digits.
Right.
And yet he has a base that is pulling them so far to the left, and they are energized. Young people aren't energized by this type of Hollywood thing.
And they don't read history, but they don't know about communism and socialism and how many millions have died by these.
You want to challenge them to a debate?
Yes.
The celebrities versus the five?
Yes. Family Feud. Although have Mark Ruffalo, Fisher Stevens and his crazy beard. Who else was there? Kathy Najimy. I think that was great.
Only if he brings the harmonica.
Yes.
That's the only way I'd do it.
You forgot my favorite, Cynthia Nixon.
Yes.
And she made a great point, which is that a year ago when Trump gave his speech, guess what? Russia was hanging over Trump's head. And tonight, as he gives the speech, Russia is still hanging over Trump's head.
That's interesting that none of those liberals in the 70s or 60s, Russia wasn't never hanging over their heads. They were fellow travelers.
Oh, get out. Yeah.
With the communists.
Yeah, well, Russia didn't help them get elected.
Yeah.
Well, Cynthia Nixon
Bernie Sanders just went on his honeymoon to Moscow. That's
But didn't Cynthia Nixon say she might run for herself?
I don't know. She better not run until she does the Sex and the City sequel. Because that's more important.
Sex in the sequel?
Sex in the sequel. That's very strange.
That's very weird.
Very different. Very different.
Just be yourself,
That's an
Greg,
unusual
honestly.
place.
It's
All
all I
right.
want.